Hey fans, welcome to the first edition of From Your Mom's Basement. I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of people will know what that reference is.
We are live from your mom's basement. Time to get your nerd on with the Legend T James Logan and his cohorts Hawk and Dove.
I'm your host, the Legend T James Logan, and I have picked up two co-hosts, two brothers. I have to put them on separate sides of the studio because just like their favorite nicknames, these guys are always at each other's throat. I'm talking, of course, about Josh and Sundar. And you may know them. Well, we'll let you figure out who they are in the end. But guys, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Tom.
Well, you know what? Today we're going to talk, first of all, television. Like this whole show, let me explain why we called it From Your Mom's Basement, is because people have made fun of years of people who read comic books, watched anime, have got into science fiction and whatnot. People like that have always been kind of looked down as nerds, and he must be in his mother's basement on the computer. Well, you know what? It seems like all those computers have come up from the basement, and now your mom's joined in with the keyboard, and she's talking about her favorite sci-fi show. So today we're going to talk about all the stuff that people would think is geeky, nerdy, whatever. We just know we have a heck of a lot of fun watching it, reading it, and just being a part of it. So first of all, Josh, I got to ask you, we're going to open this show with television shows. Tell me a television show right now you think people should be watching in this sort of realm of what we're talking about here.
Well, to start it off, I think The Flash is a good one.
The Flash?
That's a good one.
But is there some show, I want you to let's talk a few minutes about a show that you've been watching right now that you think people here should really turn on.
Well, there's a limited show on Netflix that I just watched. It's called Godless, and it's basically a Western. It's about this guy named Roy Good. He's an outlaw. He's pretty good with a pistol, and he basically goes around, he betrays his, I guess you could say, his father, and like his stepfather, because he was an orphan when he was little. But it's basically a whole adventure of him trying to make right with what he has done wrong as being an outlaw. And so it's basically the process of that, and
well, you know, you're talking here a lot of Western, and I get the Western thing, but what's the name Godless? What is that exactly referring to? I mean, was there no church in his town? I have not seen this show, by the way.
Christ is the power.
Now they don't have no streets.
When he finds out who's living here,
God help you folks.
Mister, we're a lot fucking stronger than you think we are.
there's something I gotta finish. I'm bad luck.
We have that in common then.
This here's the land of the blade and the rough. It's godless country.
all right, well,
Sundar, you jumping in on this?
Now we'll let the better half of the brothers speak.
Oh, brother, here we go.
So, there's not really a clear reason why they call it godless, I'd say. It's the Wild West, which means everything is wild, obviously.
And West.
So, in the show, he comes upon a town at night that is inhabited only by women. Mm-hmm. And what happens was all the men was killed in a mining accident overnight. Well, not overnight. It was just they were working during the day, and all of a sudden an accident happened, and they all died. And it doesn't really go into a lot of detail on everything that happened there, but that's kind of the idea. And he betrayed. It wasn't really his father; it was his father figure, I'd say. He brought him up as kind of like an orphan and everything, and then he decides one day, these guys aren't doing the right thing. I'm gonna betray them, and he's like a slick gun shooter, and it has a really, really great cast. The main guy is Jack O'Connell, which you could probably know from movies like 71, Unbroken. He was in 300.
I'm not sure if I know him. Is he related to is Jack O'Connell?
Jack O'Connell.
Now, is he related to Jerry O'Connell? The guy from Sliders. Do you remember that guy? Because I remember there was a brother that joined the class, the cast of Sliders in the last years. That's the same guy? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't think so, because this guy is brand new. His father is John Patrick O'Connell.
Don't know. I'm gonna have
So
to pull up the IDM later, kids.
He's
British.
He's British. He's not.
Okay, then he's not.
His probably most famous movie is Unbroken, the one about that
About
the one directed by Angelina Jolie.
Why isn't this not coming to me? Unbroken. What is that?
It was about one of the soldiers that would be on one of those, I guess, cargo planes.
Yeah, he was
planes.
he was an Olympian
Uh-huh.
that got sent. He was in a fatal plane crash in World War II, and so he got sent to a Japanese Navy. He was a POW.
Oh, wait a sec.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I kind of remember, but I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen it, to be honest.
Basically, the process of him going through the horrors of being in a POW camp and him trying to basically being like courageous and not breaking and like giving out
Right.
the information about.
Well, there's a rich history of movies like that,
Oh,
too.
yeah,
POWs,
exactly.
Yeah.
But this one just brings in the riches of a POW type of
Well, and
thing,
then-
like a soldier of war almost.
Okay, well, let's get back to this Godless. Now, so we've got this town. You're saying there's this town full of just women,
Yes.
but there's a guy. What is the guy? What does he come into? Clarify for me a bit here.
So basically, what he comes into is he comes into these like powerful women, and he stole money from his father figure. Frank
Right.
is his name. He took money from them, and he killed a bunch of his guys. He's quick with the trigger, and he's just one of those guys that can take down 10 guys in like 10 seconds, right? So he comes in, and he basically is waiting for all of them to come and find him, but they don't know where he is. So he's just hiding out. He's trying to heal, and at the same time, there's a lot of stuff with the town going on. There's a sheriff that's struggling. He's played by Scott McNairy. I don't know if you know him. He's from a show called Halt and Catch Fire. He's been in or it's Scoot McNairy. 12 Years a Slave, Argo, Monsters. He was in Batman vs Superman.
It doesn't ring a bell to me, but
Yeah.
I have seen Batman
He's
vs Superman.
he's not the famous
Uh-huh.
of the actors, but they definitely put a solid cast together for this.
Okay.
Like not really a lot of big hitters.
So,
other than
what are you
Jeff.
enjoying about this? What are you guys enjoying about this show?
I
Like, why should I watch it? What am I going to get out of it?
I think it was just the atmosphere. It's such a true Western, and the
Okay.
story is so strong. You know, it's a town coming together to help this man. You know, they're standing up for what is right, and nobody else is helping them. They're just a bunch of women, right? It's a bunch of women that are strong, and I don't know. It's such a good story, and it's something that wasn't done before, especially like from the story of a Western. That it had to be like it just made sense. And I know it's a limited series, but
Yeah.
honestly, I'm hoping they come back with something else.
Okay. So that's Godless. Where can people find that?
That's on
On
Netflix.
Netflix.
On Netflix.
It's
okay.
a seven episodes,
episode
and
series.
they average around like an hour an episode.
Okay.
I'd say.
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll switch gears. Go to the next show. You know, I'm going to talk about a show, and it's sort of funny. We spent some time here talking and trying to figure out our layouts of our show, and I started to realize we're just better when we just talk about the stuff that's really pressing on us right now, right? And you know what? You brought up The Flash, so let's talk a bit about the comic book television show, The Flash. I have found it to actually be really. I went in biased because I love The Flash, and I
Exactly.
wanted to love this show.
He's
and
the
I
best
do
superhero.
love this show. And well, this is going to be a debate here. He's not the best. Don't you ever talk about Green
I
Lantern
think he's
like
the hey.
Disrespect.
We all know Flash is the best.
Disrespect. He's the best to you.
Yes,
Yes.
and we'll
some
keep
other
that.
people.
People who don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
no, it's not going to be like that.
Hey, I don't see Green Lantern with his own show.
Hey, he had a crappy movie that they spent millions. Wait a minute. Anyways, we're never talking of the Green Lantern movie ever again. The only one ever made was a comic one made by DC Comics.
There's hope for you yet. Isn't there a Green Lantern Corpse movie in the works? Down the line?
Oh, there's so many
Obviously,
things. I think there's a
down the line,
me
there's-
movie down the line for all
There
I
could
know.
be,
There's probably
yeah.
movies about you guys too, but but you know what? Let's talk about The Flash. Now, first of all, going in, did it meet the expectations that you guys had for a Flash television show?
I think initially, I don't know, because you don't know what to expect, right? There was all we had was that live action movie that was really old, and obviously I wasn't really a big fan of. It's kind of cheesy.
All right, now you're talking
the
the old television show.
the old show, and then I think did they make a movie
Yeah.
out of it?
No.
No,
It was just the show.
And the show
old
wasn't
TV
that
show.
bad. I
It
mean-
wasn't
Well,
that bad.
it wasn't that bad, but
I mean, obviously it was kind of cheesy, but like it was a good type of cheesy.
It's a product of its time.
Yeah.
I like seeing Mark Hamill played the Trickster. That was pretty interesting. I think that's his name, right?
You're talking about in the new ones?
No, in the old one, and even
he played
even
in the new one. Yeah.
Even in the new one, I think those were one of the best episodes, just because Mark Hamill does so good at acting, and he just knows how to play characters like that are evil and stuff. Like his portrayal of the Joker in the Batman animated series was breathtaking. Like it was probably like the best Joker. Like if you were comparing live actions and like just TV show.
Now that's a debate we are going to get into another day. Yes. But let's keep this Flash. Now Flash, you're right, it started a little slow.
Yeah.
But then doesn't it have to start slow? I mean, this isn't like Spider-Man, it isn't like Batman where there's a gazillion movies out and everyone knows, you know, I dare to venture there was a lot of people who didn't really know who the Flash was. And even if they heard the fastest man alive, they probably had no idea really what that meant. And I think it took a little bit while to get the ball really rolling there. I know for me going in at first, my biggest misconception or misgiving, I guess, was really wondering how would they do some of the villains, you know, and for a while there it scared me because they didn't do a lot of villains in the first half of the first season. You were kind of wondering
they had like the metahumans from like the accident,
right?
That's what he hunted,
right? But like even in the very, very beginning, there also even wasn't guys with powers. It just seemed like it was him getting used to stuff, and then it worried me. Like, are they gonna? And,
it was like,
and the metahuman thing, didn't it make you wonder? Like, oh, are they just gonna throw away all the rich history of the Flash? And it seemed like that would happen, but then you get Gorilla Grodd, you get the Reverse Flash, you get all these really cool characters coming out, and I don't know. I love the show because. I just love comic book stuff, and this really it took itself. It's tongue-in-cheek fun, but it doesn't make a joke out of itself, and it has enough seriousness to get the emotional investment in it.
Well, and would you say I was just thinking this out of all the DC shows right now, I think it's the truest to the comics.
Yes,
it stays truest to the comics. If you look at Arrow, they've changed a lot of stuff in Arrow, and I mean
actually no.
Supergirl.
I'm going to have to disagree with this.
I mean,
so?
Okay, it's almost like a 50-50 thing, because there are aspects of, like, when we're talking, like, characters and stuff, like, those are in the comics, and then there's aspects of Oliver Queen that are different from the comics. But the thing about shows is they're kind of like think about like a Hobbit. Like think about the Hobbit. Like a lot of people got mad because they read the books and they're like, okay, you didn't mention this stuff and this stuff. It's like they can't mention every single detail and like fit that in. Like,
I'm not saying they have to. There's plenty of time for them to introduce new things all the time.
Well, I mean, it's not only that. Like with the Flash, for me is I felt like for some of the characters, it felt kind of weird. Like for Iris, like I don't know about you, but it's not that she's black. It's just the actor is. I feel like she doesn't play her well. I feel like she's kind of annoying and just kind of...
I thought she was very annoying the first season.
The first season...
I think a lot of people, though, would agree with that, even in Arrow with Felicity.
Yeah, and like, even now, like, even in, like, the newer episodes, like We Are Flash, like, what is that? Like, what is this, like, a community? I get, like, he has a team in this, like, and, like, in the comics, he's kind of on his own, like, but, like,
doesn't anybody else seem like all the shows now, they
have a team.
Everyone's a team.
Thank Buffy the Vampire Slayer for that, because that's where that started.
Exactly.
But sometimes you've got to think, like, the Flash is the Flash. He's probably, like, other than maybe Supergirl, he could probably take on any villain, and they make him sometimes seem a lot weaker than he is, which I don't usually agree with, because especially with some of the villains, he's like, I know he has to get over, like, a complication or something, right? But, I mean, is there any time where he can just overpower these metahumans easy and just,
Well, but there's the thing, and I think, and I'm sorry to skip into another thing, but I mentioned in Justice League, the movie, they actually said something that they never really came out and said in the Flash TV show, is he basically said, look, I can move really fast, but I don't know how to fight or anything like that. I mean, maybe I can push someone or nudge them, but I mean, I can't go into battle.
He's like, I've never had battle.
He's like, I don't know combat.
And then you look at, that's basically what's going on here, is Barry slowly learning this stuff. But here's a guy, I mean, let's face it, okay, Sundar, how many fights have you been in your life, fist fights?
Probably only like a couple.
Okay, so if you all of a sudden had superpowers, does that mean all of a sudden you're going to be like a super great fighter too?
No.
Probably not, right? So it's going to take a learning curve to bring up
Well, and
whatever
I
it
mean,
is to that.
we saw that in the first couple seasons when it was Harry Wells training him and
Yeah.
stuff. Probably not training him to fight, but training him to like get to know his powers better. And he's come a long way. I mean, he can phase through walls, right? He can, like we've seen him
Yeah.
go super fast. He can travel back
Do
in
the
time,
bolt, do all
right?
that.
Yeah.
Can do the bolt
So he's come a
lightning.
long way.
Now, the reason why for me that I said I disagreed is because I've been such a long time Flash fan, right, from the comic books. One, it bothers me that the character Barry Allen is playing in this is basically Wally West from the comic books,
Yeah.
and his age, like in the original comics, which was really cool about the Flash too, was he was a guy in his like late 20s, early 30s. He was already a renowned lab detective. He didn't have all that, like the pathos they play here with him fighting with the, being the nerdy little. That was never in the comic books. He was a grown man who got these powers, and he had a wisdom about him that was a little bit different. And then whenever I see this Flash, I love it. I love the new Flash TV show. But in my mind, it was always like, well, he's kind of, it's like they mixed the Wally West character and made him Barry Allen, and then brought in a new Wally West character.
Yeah.
And so, for me, that threw me off. The Iris thing throws me off because, once again, she's very young and immature in this show.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm not used to.
And she almost seems really naggy in the show.
Yes.
That's another thing I just...
Yes.
And her lines are just so corny, like it's just terrible.
Now, a great addition to the show is Joe, who is not in any...
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy his
I
acting.
agree. Joe, I think he's a well-needed character for, the show.
Well, and they do have some chemistry there, too.
Yeah,
You can tell
yeah.
when they're, joking around and stuff. And it is... I don't mind him at all. He's great to have.
I like the twist of him being kind of like his dad. I like the whole
raising him and stuff.
raising him, and I like the whole aspect of that, and stuff like that. And the thing about the thing with Iris and them growing up, that's fine, that's cool. But I don't know,
I guess for me,
yeah.
I guess I get it. I get how you have to have these characters younger, makes it more appealing. CW, basically shoots for
It's
a crowd
teen
of.
show.
They're shooting for 14 to 30 as their demographic, so they want younger. I get that, and so I have adjusted to it. And I got to tell you, I love the Flash. I was so mad, and we're going to talk about Justice League, but I got to say the guy actually won me over there too, being a whole different kind of Barry Allen. But one of the problems I had with this show too is, like I said, we're going to have villains come in. And some of the villains seemed kind of lame in the beginning. And you got that, But now, I mean, we've seen some really great storylines. And there's twists. And what I like about this is the fun parts. I mean, Barry's dad, the guy who's in prison, right? The reason why Barry's been so obsessed with, solving things and stuff, right? His dad, that actor, was the guy who played the Flash in the old 90s show.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what's funny.
When I saw his face, I was like, wait, that looks familiar.
And I find that kind of stuff really always fun.
Yeah.
For me, as the show has gone on, we've seen some tremendous villains. We've had the Reverse Flash. I like Tom Cavanaugh, by the way, who plays.
He plays
good. Wells.
He does good on his roles, even Eobard Thawne,
In the beginning, the first season,
he did that really well. He had us fooled for a while. I was like, wait a second. I was like, something has to be up with this guy, but I just don't know what
can't
it
put your
is.
finger on it. Yeah. And I think he's got the luckiest of all. I mean, every season he's playing different aspects. I mean, last season he was H.R. Wells, remember?
Yeah.
And then he was this crazy,
He's
goofy.
different, yeah.
And it's always good to see him on the show because I really think he spices it up. For
he's very appealing.
He's really.
Well, it shows good
appealing.
range too by a guy that can change his character basically every season because they ask him to, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, he's even directed some of the episodes, and it's just the opportunities he's had with this show. It's he's so thankful for it.
He's really opened up a lot of doors for this guy. He's shown off his talent. Now, what do you guys think of when they come across stuff that's like the CGI stuff, like even Gorilla Grodd, which was cool to see, but let's face it was a big cartoon gorilla he battled through this entire show.
At times, it can be kind of oh no,
Yeah,
what's the shark that he fights?
Oh yes.
That's a good. That's a.
I always forget his name.
King Shark.
King
King
Shark.
Shark.
That's it.
I think he's the worst that I've seen in the Flash, but I think they do an actual decent job of Gorilla Grodd. Like it looks convincing enough for me. Because you can't expect like a television show that's CW to be perfect,
right?
But like what they have, I think they do a pretty good job.
Okay.
I mean, but when it comes to detail of the characters, like even King Shark, obviously you could tell he's CGI. I mean, that's kind of hard, especially for a show. Like it would cost so much money if you wanted like movie CGI level, like Justice League. Like I mean, even Justice League kind of got it a little bit wrong.
It got a lot of
bad
CGI going.
I was kind of disappointed with Cyborg, but we can talk about that later. But King Shark, seeing characters like that, it's like oh, I was like I know that guy because I read the comics and like.
Is it kind of ballsy to take the move to have a character like King Shark even try and write him into the show?
It is because the fact is like King Shark's character in the show is like really like underrated. Like he actually has a story and stuff which I would like to see. Like
well, and you got to give them credit for doing that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Arrow.
Yeah.
I don't want to like contrast with Arrow too much because we can talk about it another time. But I mean, Arrow. I mean, like the last time I really liked the villain was when it was Deathstroke.
Oh yeah,
that was for me. That was the best Arrow has been.
I still enjoy Damien Dark. I gotta say.
Yeah, I do like Damien Dark as well. But then like the last kind of bit that they had with
Adrian Chase.
Yeah. I was kind of not as interested as much. I mean. But I don't know.
A guy who's always getting his comeuppance on him?
I kind of beg to differ with Adrian Chase. I think he's actually him and Deathstroke were probably like the best about the show. I mean, Damien Dark was good. Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah. He had like a comedic type of like style. Like, I mean, not really
like an evil,
but still dark at the same time. But like, and then he had that weakness, like the totem weakness. But Adrian Chase was interesting because like Arrow just couldn't figure out like how to like get this guy and then just like him bringing in like family like into it, like him threatening his family.
I just think about Deathstroke though because he killed his mom and
that was very dramatic.
That was dramatic, but
and then it's like the whole city. It almost seemed like it was like they burned it basically to the ground, and then to rename it Star City, and it just seemed like
I mean, and
Deathstroke is still there.
Yeah. And then the aspect
we got to pull out of Arrow here. Yeah. We're going way too far into Arrow. We're going to talk about Arrow on the next episode, but we're going to have to wrap up a bit about our first segment here. The Flash. First of all, Sundar, what is it that you like about The Flash? You got 30 seconds. Tell me what makes The Flash a cool show to you.
I think what makes The Flash a cool show is basically I like the diversity of the show. I think I know a lot of people hate on the aspect of maybe like black people or like different dynamics.
It's sad
in the show.
that happens. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind it as well either, as long as they have good acting, and most of the time they do. Maybe like exception of obviously we were talking about of his love interest, but I like seeing all the new different speedsters come on and pass through, and all the different villains, and I think all these different like villains that come on the show. And each like season they have a new big villain that he tackles. It makes it a lot more interesting. Okay. And they focus on a lot of other character arcs. Like if we think about Killer Frost, she kind of developed into her own role now. And then we see Cisco having his powers. Yeah. So it just seems like it's a lot more fleshed out than maybe we've seen before.
Josh, why should people be watching The Flash?
Oh well, yeah. With the diversity thing, it's definitely good to see shows that do that, and I just like how the Flash acknowledges like other characters of the DC extended universe, like Kid Flash. Like we get to see Wally, like he's kind of whiny. He's like when do I get my powers? He's like I feel like I'm useless, and then like he gets his powers, and he's actually kind of cool. Like in the newest episode, he kind of does this like. Pretty cool. Like he catches this gun and then he catches these bullets and then chucks it back in the gun and then like jams the gun. But that was kind of cool. And then Caitlin's like aspect of her like kind of being anti now. Like it like she's not full on Killer Frost, so she's not like
but she can still
still showcase her powers, which I find is cool. And then like in Captain Cold like seeing him in the show was pretty cool because he's like. Really important when it comes to the Flash because he's like one of those like cheesy like Flash like characters, but he's cool at the same time. But yeah, just seeing like other characters in it was cool for me.
I like the Flash because I've always liked the comic, and it's a very good take on it. And the last thing I'm going to say here, and people, if you disagree with anything or agree with anything we say, please feel free to drop us a line. We'll read your viewer mail. Be easy on Josh. He's the softer one of the three of us, so don't hurt his feelings. Okay. Anyways, the things I'm going to throw that people may not like. One. Yes, Iris can be kind of nagging, but I think she's way better actor than the girl who plays Killer Frost. She has a nice sympathetic story, but watch her acting. She is C-level. She's a bad actress.
It is pretty simple.
And the worst actor of all, I mean, I don't get why he does this, is the guy who plays, we just mentioned Dr. Cole. No,
Captain Cole.
Yeah.
Well, Barry, maybe you can know what I'm saying. He talks like that constantly. Nobody talks like that. I just want to hit him with the brick when he starts talking. Let him do his thing and walk away. I know Wentworth Miller is a big actor, but come on, dude. That's some crappy acting.
All I can think about, though, when I see him is Prison Break. I mean, come on.
It's
Well, you know what? We're gonna take a quick break here, folks. Listen to some of these fine commercials, if there is any. And we'll go back to our second talk. We're going to talk about in the next segment, the dreaded movie against movie. Today, Thor versus Justice League. What's worth your money, what's not, what makes it good, and what makes it a little bit suckage.
You're listening to another great show from the Second Row Podcast Network with the legend T. James Logan. For more shows, visit our website at www.secondrow.ca. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And like us on Facebook at From the Second Row.
So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. And then I went on a journey of self-discovery, where I met you. Where are we? You have no idea. Hela, the goddess of death, has invaded Asgard.
Oh, I've missed this.
And you and I had a fight recently.
Did I win?
No, I won, easily.
Doesn't sound right.
Well, it's true.
All right, folks, we're back to segment 2. This is your host, the legend T. James Logan, sitting here with the veritable Hawk and Dove themselves. We're talking Sundar and Josh. Guys, this has been a big month for movies. I mean,
big month.
Thor, representing Marvel Comics, coming out of the gate like a giant snowball down the side of a mountain. And let's face it, it has made a gazillion bucks.
Yes.
Then the highly anticipated Justice League came out with a whimper and has kind of not been living up to expectations. Mm-hmm. Apparently, and we'll talk about the merits of these movies, but apparently I have read that so far the worry here is that after all the publicity money spent out, that this movie is not going to break even if it makes $200 million.
I just want to add to that. Apparently, it had the lowest opening of all the DC movies so far.
That should have been Batman versus Superman.
yeah, and that's the highest.
Oh,
Isn't that weird?
That's called DC when you burn people badly.
Yeah.
They're a little reluctant to jump back on the train.
Oh, man.
Now, let's talk about Thor, okay?
Okay.
We'll talk the big to the little, okay? The Thor movie comes out, the third in the series. Let's face it, the Thor movies have been probably the most underperforming Marvel movies of the main things. I love them.
They're
but
fun.
A lot of people, way more people were seeing other movies than this. But then they turned around and made this, I'm going to say like they took Thor and added a little spice called Guardians of the Universe, shook it up in a bag, threw in a Hulk, and what do you get? A
pretty good
Hulk, maybe. I don't know. All right. Sundar, what did you like about Thor?
Oh, man. Here's what I liked about Thor. When you think of all the other Thors that have come out, the first and the second, I thought of Thor having the most serious tone out of all the superheroes in the Marvel universe. That being said, this one is probably the most carefree and fun-loving one, and you can just see the chemistry between Hulk and Thor, and it's just
Even more so than Guardians, you think?
Even-
more than the first Guardians?
it's hard because
It's so fresh, though, right now.
because if you look at Peter Quill
Yeah.
and the actor that plays him, he's a comedian, right?
Yeah.
But I
Chris
think
Pratt.
yeah, Chris Pratt, and I think that this one has come a long way to rival that.
Excellent, okay. Josh, what did you love about Thor? Or did you? Did you love Thor, first of all?
Well, yeah, I loved it. I especially love Krog, played by Taika Waititi, the director, which was basically the best character of the movie. I think he just stole the whole thing away.
The casual is like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, you want to join our rebellion? Yeah. He's like, and like, he's just such a funny character, and like, that's what took me to like.
It's weird to think that was a director too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was weird, and it was funny that like he stole the show, like for like most of people, like I see on like social media, it's like, oh, this is the best character. It's like screw Thor and like stuff like that, and but like no, and then like seeing like Mark Ruffalo play Hulk again, that was amazing. Like we've been waiting for how many years to see Hulk.
Well, I'm
again.
still waiting for a solo Hulk movie.
Well, okay, that's.
I wouldn't mind Planet Hulk.
See, Thor.
title.
We get a taste of Planet Hulk because like
It's not
it
enough,
has.
though.
It's definitely not enough. Not equivalent to anything that.
Well, except for you two nerds, though. Are you going to tell me that anyone else is going to invest in a Hulk movie? Because Hulk movies have not done well. They've
Okay.
not been received.
Is that because they're stigmatized though? Just because those other ones?
Is the stigma going to change?
I liked it. I didn't mind the Edward Norton one as.
I like Edward Norton a lot.
I
liked
like
it.
that one
Obviously,
But nobody else seemed to.
obviously,
I guess-
Edward
I guess-
Norton himself was
Yeah.
kind of stuck up, or I don't know what his
Stuck up
problem
about
was
it.
about
he didn't want to do it.
continuing.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Mark Ruffalo is just fine. I think
he captures it pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they could do a solo movie.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like a blessing that what's his name?
Who?
The one that played Incredible. Hulk.
Edward Norton?
Edward Norton,
Norton.
yeah. Played like it was good he left because like I think Mark Ruffalo plays him better because like he has that like kind of scientist feel to him, like, and he has the comedic feel also because he's been in like other like comedic movies and stuff, like in romance movies, but you know.
Well, clearly I'm sitting here with Hulk fans.
Obviously, Hulk is
He's
amazing.
He's one.
Okay.
He's-
There's
Now-
too many good super.
There was a
Yeah.
lot of great heroes in this show.
There
And
was.
a lot of
There
representation.
was.
Now, for God's sakes, don't make me sound like I'm racist here. But for me, I was disappointed that when it was Valkyrie, that it wasn't the blonde ponytail,
I
pigtail.
can agree with you on that one.
I kind of wanted that, not because she's white or anything, just because that's the character I wanted to see. If you're going to throw up all these characters from the comic books, why do you got to give me a different kind of Valkyrie or a different person? Because she wasn't playing that Valkyrie. But why couldn't they give me that Valkyrie?
That's true.
Is that comic snobbery?
No, I don't know. I don't feel like they're gonna always be honest to the fans because if we look at movies now every day, it seems like I'm not hating at all. But like when we talked about this in Flash with black actors replacing what would be traditionally white.
And that happens quite a bit, and I
It
kind of
does.
like the diversity.
Yeah, I do like it, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have like blonde, but like see, they wouldn't do it to major character. Like, what if they did Wonder Woman like blonde or something, and it was like a black character or whatever it is, right? Like, obviously there'd be outrage over that because she's a major like hero. But I mean, I think they can get away with stuff like that. So
I mean, I think it's also because since it's like I think this might be the last Thor movie. I'm not sure, but like
Trust me, when there's
I
money
wouldn't-
involved,
but-
with this
yeah.
much
But,
money, there's not
yeah,
going to be.
I mean,
we'll see the Thor Christmas special where he'll be singing with
probably
with those Filipino girls who came by here singing. Oh, we're not going to get into that. That was odd.
that was an odd.
I think the
awkward-
only person that
Was it awkward? Did you feel awkward when they were singing Christmas carols?
just like standing there and just watching them is kind of weird, but at least to me.
yeah, it's the first time I've had.
It's the first
like
time I
I-
haven't, but isn't it kind of
Yeah.
like some ancient story of Christmas carols? Like they come.
I mean, it was just like two of them.
Oh, you
I thought
see
it
What
was
I'm referring to,
ridiculous.
people,
Yeah.
is before we started recording, I hear the doorbell ring. I go over, and there's two Filipino girls there, one with a guitar. First, I thought you guys invited a party over, and I see this guitar coming
Yeah.
in. And they say to us that they're doing fundraising for their Filipino mission or whatever, and that they're going door to door singing Christmas carols, and if we'd be interested. And I'm figuring, you know what? I've never actually had a Christmas caroler in my life come to my door.
Yeah.
Come on in, girl. So they came in. They stood there. One of them shook one of those little eggs, or I don't know what you call those things. And
egg shaker thing.
Is that what an egg shaker?
I don't know.
I couldn't even see it.
And the other one played guitar, and they sang us 2 Christmas carols in my front stairwell to Filipino girls as we awkwardly stand there listening. But you know what? I took the high spirit of like, hey, it's Christmas. I'm going to give these girls some money for their charity.
Well, it's December 1st.
It's the first day. It's the time of season.
It's coming.
Okay, so we'll get back to let's get back into this. But that's what we're referring to is these 2 odd girls coming in. And they're not that odd. It's just odd occurrence for us to have them sing Christmas carols standing there as they're walking around in minus 10 weather. I don't know. But anyways, back to Thor. Now, Thor, who would have thought a cool haircut and some face paint would make him look way cooler?
Well, I did, but I did as well.
How about the helmet? He finally got the cool Thor helmet from the comic.
But it didn't even last that long. It was gone.
I mean, but it's kind of like that whole like Captain America thing where it's just like like he just puts it on. He wears it like for a couple of scenes and then he takes it off because people are like, hey, it looks cooler. Like
to me, it was like when Luke Cage stole those clothes and he threw them.
He
had the medical thing on and it looked like the tiara.
Yeah,
he wears in the comics, and he grabs the yellow shirt off.
Yeah. Like, well, I like how they did that in Luke Cage. That was kind of cool. But and still waiting for Iron Fist to get his official outfit.
I don't know. Iron Fist did really badly, and I don't know if they're going to get, do you really see the Inhumans or Iron Fist getting another chance?
They did. They're already filming the show.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Just
because they film it doesn't mean they're going to release it.
He's appearing on some actually Luke Cage episodes. They've been.
I've got to say though, he stepped it up in Defenders.
Yeah.
I think his power.
Defenders.
Yeah, his power came. It wasn't. I don't think it was the strongest of the shows, and it felt a little bit short to me, especially for a mashup. But I think he came together because he had a lot of part in that.
Okay. Well, you know what? The Thor movie was fun. It took you to another planet on the other side of the thing. It had all these elements that Guardians opened the gates for, but it kept its sensibility for Earth stuff. There was tie-ins with the Avengers. All in all, a satisfying movie that was extremely funny. Lots of great humor, lots of great action. Now, I want to switch to the movie that we're paralleling it against right now, and that's, I'm not sure, we're going to sit here and we're going to give our honest opinions of the Justice League movie. Now, first of all, who wants to go first on Justice League?
I can go first.
Josh, did you like Justice League? Was it as good as Thor in your mind? Was it better, worse? Tell me what your feelings of Justice League were.
I mean, to be honest, I'm a guy that loves the DC more than Marvel. But when it comes to movies, like in live action movies, Marvel does a better job just because it has better cast, better. Oh, not going to say better cast, but better directors and other additional people to the production.
Would you say though sometimes maybe that is also in the fact it's easier to maybe DC comic books come across more grander, but when you try and put that on the film, it's hard to capture. And Marvel's always been more of a realistic, grittier type through their comics, so maybe it's easier to make that character more easy.
And it doesn't help. It doesn't help that Bryan Singer didn't do. It's Bryan Singer, right? The director
for
that
Justice League.
No, it was Joss Whedon.
He's
Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah, Zack Snyder. Okay. You're talking about a guy that Zack Snyder who did movies like Batman v Superman, which didn't live up to really anything. It was a whole bunch of movies in one, which was terrible.
The problem with that movie was the only good part of that movie was Wonder Woman, who wasn't really that much of the movie. So I'm going to tell you something.
But I didn't think he had a bad start. I mean, Zack Snyder doing Superman.
I thought
Superman, that was a good movie to start
bad.
off.
I mean, there were some things that.
And I had high hopes. Then I was like, okay, this is going to be good. Yeah. This is we could look forward to these coming movies, and it's going to be good like this. At least it told a good story. But
okay, well, we're getting into though. Did this movie? Where would you put it against Thor? Above or below?
I mean, before, like, I would say, like, they're about the same, but to be honest, like, Thor is kind of better, so I'd put it kind of below. Like, I mean, not too far down, just because I like the cast, and I like to see, like, characters like Aquaman, like, I like Jason Momoa's portrayal of him, and the funny thing about it, for those of you who have seen the movie, and they do show a scene of Atlantis, which is actually... Like, it's been revealed that was actually Aquaman's first time being at Atlantis, which was interesting to see that in a movie that wasn't his standalone. But it was interesting that they made a nod to that. So,
doesn't that just give me a headache right now? Because it was his first time in Atlantis, but he knew that there was going to be this thing in there. We're not going to give away the plot, but when you watch that movie and they're talking about the mother boxes... if that's his first time in there, how did he even know to go in there?
Exactly.
Anyway,
that's what everybody's asking about that.
I just thought about that now. Sorry. Okay, Sundar. Justice League versus Thor. First of all, Justice League, thoughts, and where does it place on rankings with Thor?
Here's the thing with Justice League.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed Thor.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thor is easier to enjoy for audiences because it's a Marvel movie and there's already an established universe.
Right.
Here's where Justice League suffers. All these new characters are brought in, and I think DC, what they're thinking is, most people that are going to watch this movie are already going to know all these backstories and everything. But what about all those other fans that don't know anything about them?
Right.
And they want to know about them. How do they love them in that short of time? In 2 hours. And that was another thing that apparently Warner Brothers or whatever, they put a time limit of this movie can't be longer than 2 hours.
Right.
And I think the second half of the story of Justice League suffered from that. It felt so rushed, and characters were coming in and out, and this and that was happening, and people got forgotten. Like, I think Cyborg, he had a small part in that movie. Let's be honest.
I don't know. He was pretty pivotal in the whole.
Well, he was at the end. I think he's pivotal, but I wanted to see more of like action from him and him contributing to the fight. Let's say.
Okay.
But other than that,
too many characters.
Yeah, it's too many characters, and they just couldn't. They tried to introduce all of them like right at the beginning, and I think like probably the Marvel way was a bit easier because people would already know who they are, and then it's just they come together, they have something they have to do, right?
Well, you know what I want to say about this is, first of all, boys and girls, if you're watching the Justice League movie, you obviously have some interest in comic books. If you go in with that mindset, let's face it, that's great. I mean, I don't open up a comic book and go, who's this guy in this panel? I mean, I need to know everything about him. Or this, I will not know if he's book. No, it's a comic book. Okay? People want to, I get the fact maybe if we're watching high art, we didn't get the storylines all, perfectly evened out to make the most resonance in characters. Well, that's what comic books are about. What that means is down the road, we keep adding to the mythos of who the Flash is, who Cyborg is, who Aquaman is, and that's where they build from. That's what I look at. Now, I like this movie a lot. What I liked about it is, and why for me, and I know people are going to send in the hate mail for this one, but I really thought the Justice League overall, in the encapsulating, I'm going to buy a Blu-ray and watch it again, that Justice League was the better movie. For the simple fact is the way of what you get out of these movies. Out of Thor, I sat, had a good time, laughed, it was funny. Yeah, okay, cool. Justice League, I saw a world where it hurt, where people were mourning Superman, where emotions were going on, where things were happening that were affecting people around. And people seem to forget that in comic books, or in comic movies. It's all, Daredevil's sad. The Guardians did this, that. But what about the real people in the world? And that's what you emulate from, right? Here, you got to feel with the average Joe person walking around seeing these costume gods, heroes, freaks, whatever you want to call them, but you got the emotional investment in that. And I said to my wife, I said, you know what? I will buy both movies, and I'll throw in Thor when I want to have a few good laughs, whatever. But when I throw in Justice League, it's because I want to go into that world again where I feel the uplifting coming. I feel that sadness and all that up, That's, for me, what made it a better movie. Sure, there are parts of it where I can say they rush stuff. There's certain things that are going to make you go, if you really think about it, scratch your head. But hey, dummies, if you're reading a comic book, that happens almost every third issue. Okay? So, overall, they were both really good movies. And the funny part is, I laugh about this because I'm a lot older than our co-hosts here, okay? I'm probably old enough to be their dad, okay? So I've been around here at least 20 years more than them. And I come from a part where they're sitting here, these are young guys that they're, early 20s who have watched all these cool wealth of TV shows, all these cool wealth of movies that are coming out. I had crap like Battlestar Galactica.
That's a good show.
That's a good show.
Don't hate on
guys,
it. The original?
No, the original. I just watched some episodes.
The original.
I'm talking the original. Okay. See, there was an original, and it was.
Yeah,
I didn't finish the original.
The original was cheesy, but like it did bring aspects of like the old Star Wars that I liked.
So what makes this great is the fact is, wow, somebody's taking a comic book and making it fleshed out into a movie. That didn't happen 30 years ago, 20 years ago. You were lucky to get a guy who had a different name and maybe he was kind of like the dude in the thing. This was real comic books, and that's what comic book movies are really fun about. And so we're kind of spoiled. We're sitting here taking these two great masterpieces, and Aquaman kind of walks with a funny thing, and, I'm pretty sure Wally West, blah, blah, blah. You know what? We should just be thankful we get to see these movies. For me, that's why I guess I have a different perspective of it, because I've seen horrible cash-in attempts. This is nice that somebody's translating a movie.
And here's what I'm excited for. Okay, I didn't actually say, but I do think Justice League is the movie worth watching. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this because I think it's good to see these characters struggle now.
Right, so they grow.
They grow.
Yeah,
they get they have their solo movies. We see them grow. The next Justice League grows around. They're even more powerful, and they fight even higher stakes. Like let's face it. I mean, they didn't fight Darkseid.
No,
right?
They didn't even. They mentioned his name once at the very end,
which gave me chills. Yeah.
Steppenwolf was, it's like, man, but let's see how they do when they're stronger, they're older, and maybe even like audiences mature too with them, right? So I'm excited to see what the universe will bring for them.
Right, and folks, to be honest, both these movies were very good. I will purchase both of these movies,
of course.
But if I had to only be able to see one of them one more time, I would go for Justice League, because for me it gave an emotional resonance that was a lot stronger than Thor gave me.
Yeah, I kind of see the same thing, and it's almost like Marvel movies to me almost seem like a guilty pleasure.
Yes, sometimes they don't have that extra. Except I will give Guardians the bookend with his mom. Yeah. Really gave it emotional resonance.
Oh yes.
That was probably one of the best.
And they had the best soundtracks I've heard in a while, with all those old good songs and everything coming in, and you could definitely feel something, especially.
You guys don't know how old you're making me feel right. Anyhow,
that probably bring back some memories.
Shut up!
I didn't know.
Born in the 70s.
I didn't know.
I didn't say I was listening to music.
I didn't know half the songs in that movie, and I still like them. So,
well, the second album I didn't really know, but the first one I.
I'm going to let you guys into a quick secret here before we finish off the segment. All those songs on there, I'd say probably 50% of them weren't even hits. They were songs that happened in the 70s.
That's why
it's easy to go into any time, pick out some good songs that nobody ever really listened to, and play it. Good music makes good music.
They weren't songs you heard in Walmart, so
you do now. Well, anyways, you know what, folks? Both these movies are playing right now, Justice League and Thor. They are out there. Take a chance and watch them. They'll each give you something different, but the bottom line is, kids, comic book movies done well.
Yeah.
You're listening to another great show from the Second Row Podcast Network with the Legend T James Logan. For more shows, visit our website at www.secondrow.ca. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And like us on Facebook at From the Second Row.
Folks, we're back. I'm your host, Legend T James Logan, sitting in with the ever quarreling, and it doesn't sound like they're quarreling too much because I gave them each a little lithium. That's right. Sundar and Josh, you know them as Hawk and Dove. At least that's what their parents called them when they kept them on each side of the room. Now, guys, we've been talking comic book movies. We've been talking comic book shows. It seems comic books are a big thing. There are lots of other weird things that we could be talking about, and we will get into all these one things. I'm going to throw some topics out there, and I want you guys to talk a tiny bit about it. First of all, I know Josh is much more into anime than Sunrise.
Yeah.
So tell me, name me three really quick. Well, no, you know what? We tend to go on and on, but give me three really quick anime shows that people should try and look around for.
Well, if you like the whole fantasy type of aspect, you should check out Fairy Tail. That's a pretty good show.
Fairy Tail is very fun.
It's hilarious, and the characters are just so funny and
love
cool.
the cat.
Yeah, the cat's great.
You can't go wrong with a talking cat.
It's true. And
well, you can, but
I mean, he sounds like a girl with the dubbed version.
Yeah, have you seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Come on, that cat was terrible.
That's true. But yeah, check out Fairy Tail because it's pretty cool. It's kind of almost like if Harry Potter was cooler.
That's not going to happen.
Exactly. So Fairy Tail is where you want to go.
In a land far, far away lies the Kingdom of Fiore, a small, peaceful nation of 17 million and a place filled with magic. Found in every home, bought and sold in every marketplace. For most, magic is merely a tool, a mundane part of everyday life. For some, however, magic is an art, and they've devoted their lives to its practice. These are the wizards. Banded together into magical guilds, they ply their skills in search of fame and fortune. Many such guilds dot the landscape of Fiore. But there is a certain guild in a certain town that soars high above the rest, one from which countless legends have been born. A guild that will no doubt continue to create legends well into the future. Its name is Fairy Tail.
Where you going? Hikari zenbu atsumete Kimi no ashita terasu yo.
Oh yeah. Second one is that one's a hard one, but Darker Than Black. I can think about.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. I love that show.
I just couldn't stop thinking about it because of you, Tom. So
I like Darker Than Black. Kind of a weird show about there's this guy. He just keeps zipping in on it because he kind of had some kind of Spider-Man almost. He had this kind of little zip line thing.
Blade,
and he'd come in, kill a bunch of people, and zip away. And you're like, what's going on? After a while, you start to. The only thing about it, it's super Japanese because the ending explanation makes you go, what?
Yeah,
it makes sense, but it's still like, we went there? But what? Yeah. Check it out, Darker Than Black, really interesting. It was on Netflix, not anymore.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Oli! Good boy. Waiting to put your trash out till the morning. I keep telling everyone not to let it sit out all night, but do they listen?
Is that your cat?
No, just some stray I caught hanging around lately. He's a bad one. Been getting into the garbage every night and making a mess.
Oh, yeah, that is bad, isn't it?
Tubby little guy. I'm guessing someone around here's been feeding him. It's not you, is it? You know we have a no pets policy.
I know.
Off to school?
No, I've got a job.
Really? You're not one of them damn telemarketers, are you?
No, of course not. So, what are you going to do with the cat?
I'm not sure yet. But I've heard there are places that carve this little booger up and make him into a stew. That'd teach him a lesson, wouldn't it?
It's not something I'd want to try myself, but who knows? Might taste good.
I also like Full Metal Alchemist a lot.
Oh, that one was a good one. It showed a lot of heart, especially if you like the brother aspect.
Two brothers quarreling a bit, one bigger than the other. Yeah. Wait a minute, is this your guys' story?
Might be.
I mean, if it was a dark story, I mean,
as long as I win.
If Cinder lost a limb and an arm,
you definitely are the guy. You're definitely Al in the suit.
I'm Al because I'm the younger one, right? So,
yeah.
So I'm the metal man, so in the armor.
Edward, get out now!
Brother! Get out of there! Brother! Stop, damn it! Stop! May, I need a favor. Back then, Ed was willing to sacrifice his right arm in order to bring my soul back. So, shouldn't the reverse be possible?
Alphonse, what are you saying?
All you have to do is clear a path. Can you do that?
But if you do this, do you know what will happen?
There's no time! Please, May. You're the only one. It has to be you.
A stone! You vile human! Give it to me! No, Edward! Your energy!
But yeah, just it shows a lot of heart. It shows a lot of family aspects to it. It shows a lot of actually stuff that happens in the real world, and like the bad and the good that you can see in this world now. And
well, you know what? There's people have the option out there, and you may disagree with me, and it's okay to say this, but there was Full Metal Alchemist, the series, and then there was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was way better animation, much newer, but I didn't like it because I felt it skipped a lot of the story.
I mean, I think the fact was that it was basically almost like
it was true to the manga thing, wasn't it?
True, yeah. But Brotherhood was like I talked to one of my good anime friends. He said if you've seen like the first one, then you'll like the second one because it also kind of fills in some of the gaps. Like between
I thought Brotherhood.
Because the way Brotherhood starts off, they're already like they already know like what's
like halfway through the story.
Yeah. Well, see, it was almost like a pickup like from like the chapters that weren't told. Like,
right, but it makes it almost seem like you had to watch them kind of together to get the actual story.
I mean,
but there was a lot of gaps in Brotherhood.
But why not though? Because like the show itself, like both, I enjoyed both of them. Like the first one, I enjoyed. I feel like Brotherhood had more action in it.
Okay,
and had new characters.
The animation was much better. I give it that.
Obviously,
so crisper
because it was newer, right? Like the one was like I think it was like 2000 or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember, but
Brotherhood was 2009, 2010.
Yeah. But the first one was like I think like
a little earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like two.
Because I'm pretty sure Brotherhood is the second one.
Brotherhood is the second one, and then Full Metal Alchemist
2000 was like 2001.
Yeah, 2001. Yeah. I mean, even 2001's version didn't look bad either.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying comparatively, you could see the jump in the art and the crispness and colors and stuff in Brotherhood. Okay, so we got Brotherhood. We got Full Metal Alchemist. I say stay away from Brotherhood. If you're gonna, I say watch Full Metal Alchemist first. Maybe people will disagree.
I agree. Watch that one first, and then if you like Full Metal Alchemist, watch Brotherhood because it really fills in some gaps.
Darker Than Black, older one. Check it out. And what was the first one we said?
Fairy Tale.
Fairy Tale. How could I forget Fairy Tale?
Yeah.
Fairy Tale's fun. Kind of adventure. Kind of serious action mixed with comedy, high comedy, which makes Japanese viewing very uneven for some people because some people.
It's true.
Because they go from like the lowest common laughter to the serious most pathos, and so it's kind of hard for some people to get that. I like it.
I mean, but the way Fairy Tale does it is they do it at the right moments. Like they do it when they're with friends. Like they make the witty jokes, and then even in the battles, it's funny to see like Natsu. Like he's like oh yeah, I'm all fired up. He's just like I'm about to beat you, and this guy's like wait a second, I'm like more powerful than you. He's like nope. Because I'm a dragon slayer, so and, like it's just funny to see, and then like to see like Natsu's aspects, like literally like in one scene he's like seasick, and then he's just like is he seasick? And he's just like yeah, he's like but you're not even on like a ship. He's like you're on like a flying dragon, and like and it's just like funny like that, and then they just
the humor's kind of
the humor is but like it's good at the same time.
Now I gotta ask you guys. This is going to come from my weird addiction lately. Do you guys watch odd little films on YouTube, or is there anything? Because like I'm going to throw this out there, okay? People think I'm insane. I came across this summer some very strange woman called Poppy.
Was this the video you showed us?
Yeah, and now I watch Poppy religiously. She has like a video every 2 days. Her videos are less than a minute long, and they are they'll either make you laugh, want to bang your head into a wall, or just stand there going, what the hell was that? But you will download the next. For those people who are wondering what I talk about, go onto YouTube. It's under the heading That Poppy. She has her own stuff. weirdly enough, she has a bunch of albums out. She sings songs. A couple of them are actually pretty good. I would suggest the song called Low Life. But she is something else. And is there any, I'm just starting to get into these things. Do you guys watch regular YouTube channels or people?
I do, especially animated ones. Like I watch kind of trailer spoofs.
I've seen a lot of trailer spoofs.
Like there's this one that I was watching today because I missed so many of them. They do things like the
this
Thor
is
trailer.
College Humor?
I don't know. I don't really like College Humor that much,
but that idea.
Yeah, that idea. But it's animated. And
okay.
They make the trailers really goofy and stuff, but it's good. They're called Art Spare Entertainment. They're really funny because they bring up the most it's for all audiences. It's usually It's funny, and then even the comparisons to the trailer, they do so good with the animation that they look pretty good. They look good detailed and stuff.
Okay.
And then Watch Mojo is another one. If you want to watch top 10 videos on it could be on video games, it could be on movies, it can be on even on
you know what?
The genre goes
one night, 3 a.m, I can't sleep. So I'm an idiot. I put on one of these Watch Mojo things, and it was the top 10 scariest kills on Saw. 3 a.m, I'm sitting there watching people being.
You can get.
Oh my lord!
You can get addicted.
You know what a weird addiction for YouTube stuff for me is definitely is. Irish people try American chocolate bars. Canadians try.
Oh yeah,
there's so many of those.
Is it
they're so addicting. Yeah, it's a BuzzFeed thing, and it's the Irish guys are the best. For some reason, they're cast. The Irish guys are the most likable. The Canadians and the Americans are just dicks. But it's
what else is new?
Yeah. But how about you, Sundar? Is there anything that you like? Do you have any?
Actually, Josh just got me into this guy. I'm sure most people know him. He has 5 million subscribers. His name is H3H3 Productions.
I don't know this. Tell me.
Okay, so I don't know actually that much about him because I literally just got into him. He's this weird guy. I don't know. It's him and his wife or whatever, and they just do a bunch of comedic stuff, and they'll be talking about things recently they got a character pack, so they got featured into this game called Payday 3. So they were showing that off, and it's just them saying funny lines and stuff like that. So, and he does weird stuff, he makes fun of people who vape and stuff like that. And,
okay.
I don't know. It's just a weird channel that I've kind of heard about kicking around.
Throw out the channel name one more time.
H3H3 Productions.
And that's just go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And and throw out yours.
Art Spare Entertainment.
Okay, and that Poppy. Those are 3 different, unique. Oh yeah, and we can't forget the BuzzFeed ones. Check out. Whatever nationality, trying whatever, you'll see a whole list of them. They're pretty good. But what other things we want to talk about today? We've talked about anime. We've talked about television. First of all, we should get this out of the way. There is some bad television out there.
There is.
Okay? And we're going to go really quick on this. I was so excited that there was going to be an Inhuman show, and it turned out to be such a snooze fest. I watched it all, and even in the ending, I was like, ugh.
How did you get through it? I want to say one episode. How did you get through one episode?
I think I watched it all, binge watched it one night when I had nothing to do.
Were you asleep when you?
I had the best sleeps of my life. Yeah. It's just they took a great idea and just didn't follow through any of it.
It's disappointing. I mean, I don't get and the model they did too. Why release 2 episodes in IMAX and then on TV?
Yeah,
and I don't know if that hurt it or
apparently it did nothing for it.
Yeah, it didn't do anything. They made no money off it.
And the thing that killed me is I really liked some of the portrayals of some of the characters. I liked the guy who played Black Bolt. There was something about him conveyed.
Anson Mount, he's good.
I liked his portrayal. It's just when I saw the sight of him, it was. I mean, he's a handsome guy.
No, we're meaning he's not the Black Bolt of the comics.
He didn't have the iconic costume and for Black Bolt it's really important because
and he can't do anything else because it's not like he talks.
Yeah,
it's Black Bolt.
he can't talk, and then the way they actually, I think they portrayed his voice, he did the weird thing was he did little chunks where he would say I or it's smash or something like that but the thing is when he says something like that, it's just you better expect the world to split in half.
Yeah, and that was the whole point of it. Expectations dumped. I'm sorry. I did not live up to it. Now, really quickly, I've heard things, and I've only seen a couple episodes. You guys have seen The Gifted?
Yeah.
Some people have been labeling it X-Men Without Heart.
So
without the cool X-Men.
Full disclosure, I've only watched the first couple episodes.
Okay.
I
So
think
the potential's great.
Yeah.
Think?
So,
Okay.
but I think Josh has watched a bit more. But
Yeah, I'm not caught up on it though. I missed.
And neither
like,
am I.
couple
I've
of-
seen
I
2
missed like a
episodes.
few episodes.
But I'll say this, okay? I think the acting it's kind of generalized. It almost feels a bit like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where it might start off a bit slow and get better as time goes on.
I think one thing it suffers from is that flat look. Do you ever notice how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has a flat
Yeah.
clear look to it?
It just but they have their powers and they
Yeah.
show off their powers.
Yeah.
And the CGI or whatever they do, the editing, it looks really nice. It looks like movie quality, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'd say.
Well, things that bother me a bit about it, and I've only seen 2 episodes, is there's a character in there named Lorna Dane who is in the X-Men universe as Polaris.
Yeah.
And so,
she's
they mention these characters, but then there's no mention at all of the X-Men. They make some line like, well, no one's seen the X-Men in so many years.
Well, I'm wondering if they're maybe not allowed to, though.
Well, they do say the word X-Men, so they did say it.
They refer to X-Men actually a lot when it comes to like, I was like, oh, like what about the X-Men? What happened to them?
Yeah.
It's like,
So
what
they're
are we
just
supposed
not
to do?
never show them.
it.
Yeah,
It's
they just
never
keep.
shown.
There's just a vague. Oh, no one has seen the X-Men in so long.
Yeah. It's like you get that almost Logan vibe.
But you know their
Yeah,
stuff.
I was just thinking Logan
Yeah.
too. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
But they know they're out there. It's just they don't.
Or are they out there?
Or I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
don't know. We don't know what happened to them because we
That'd
don't
be
know
the-
how they're doing this show. 'Cause
So overall, though, would we say is this a show people should take a quick look at?
I mean, if you have the time, check it out.
I think so. It's not as bad as Inhumans.
Yeah,
Let's say that.
it's not. It's definitely.
It does
you
have-
could definitely go into the Gifted and still find it kind of enjoying. I guess I don't know, depending on who you are, but
I mean, they're mutant teenagers, and I think it could get good.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably stick
Yeah.
with it when I
Okay.
have time and.
No,
catch up.
an interesting show. It's not based on a comic book. Is Ghosted. I've been watching the show. It's only a half hour long, and I find this funny that all of a sudden there's these kind of bigger idea shows cut into a half hour.
Yeah.
2 guys who end up in sort of an X-File. No, you know what's more like Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in Black.
Like they're in
Yeah.
a Men in Black kind of organization.
But a
They're
lot
just 2
more
idiots.
humor.
Yeah, and a lot more humor. Because those movies were not fun at the end. Apparently they went back so far in time, Will Smith didn't even know how to tell jokes anymore. But anyways, Ghosted, check that out. I think it's a show worth looking at.
Oh yeah.
One other show, I don't know, have you guys seen The Chronicles of Shannara?
No, you're
Should I
telling
skip
us
this?
about
Should I do
that.
it?
You tell. I mean, it sounds like a good show.
I saw it on Crave. I just don't have time to check it out yet. Maybe over
Okay.
Christmas break.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
same.
Folks, I want to say it's an interesting... I used to read Terry Brooks' books all the time. I read all the Shannara series. That's starting at the very first one from the Elf Stones of Shannara, the very first one. And the second season was the next one. So it's going on. It was the Sword of Shannara. So it's... I don't know if they'll continue with it, but they have Manu Bennett, who's from Arrow, who plays Deathstroke. He is a tremendous actor, and he is really good in the show. I say if you get a chance, check it out. There's so many great shows out there. I mean, I have not yet seen the new Riverdale. I know it's floating out this season yet. I have seen none of the episodes. Last year's was awesome.
Yeah, the newest episode was actually pretty interesting. It actually kind of switched it up a little bit. It was like they did kind of chapters in the episode. It was weird. It was like Archie and Archie and Jughead, and then it was like Betty and
Veronica.
Yeah.
Sorry, classic comic book, Betty and Veronica.
And then so they kind of like showed like what they were doing like during that, and then like so then when it came to like Veronica and Betty, showed like this part where it was like, whoa. I just saw that part like
from a different perspective.
Yeah, from a different perspective.
I like that when they
which
do
was
that sometimes.
interesting.
Yeah. It's nothing to do every week, though. It's a good thing to see.
It's a good thing to see occasionally, and they did it, I think, quite well, in my opinion.
Sundar, have you been watching Riverdale so far, the new one?
Yeah, I do. I do watch a lot of it. I like how they switched it up this season. You know, it's a killer on the loose, and they're trying to catch.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
like nobody knows where it is, and everybody's trying to figure it out. And I don't know.
And even in this newest episode, they kind of hear a background of like previous like Black Hood called, I think, the Reaper of Riverdale or something like that. And it was interesting to hear about that, because this is like, wow, it even got more darker than it was already.
Well, we were running out of time, so I do know next episode we are going to talk a bit about the Arrow. We're going to try and talk about 2 movies comparatively or not. Well, anyways, we're going to be talking about 2 big movies, whatever we decide. We'll figure it out. And We'll be talking more about YouTube channels. We'll be talking more about comics. Well, heck, there's a wealth of DC comic cartoons coming out. And there's the last two things I'm going to throw at you guys. I know you may not have seen this or heard it, but I'm just going to take you to take a look. Since we've been talking about Archie, there's always been so many different comic book series of Archie. One that I find is I think it's called Life After Archie. It's about zombies in Riverdale, and it's total rewritten as a horror comic book with the Archie characters in it. And it is really cool to see. Really dug it. It even has a spin-off of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, who is a witch who uses the Necronomicon to pull up the... It's some scary stuff. Yeah, Watt is right. Folks, check it out. If you're older, please check it out. And the last thing I want to say, I saw the Ninjago movie. And I'm watching it, the Lego Ninjago movie, and to me it had perhaps the most profound and interesting origin of a villain ever. And there's that guy with the 4 arms, and he's the big bad guy, Mogadon. I don't know his name is, but he's got 4 arms, and finally he kind of becomes friends with them, and the one guy goes, "So, what's the deal with the 4 arms?" And this, folks, whoever wrote this deserves something. He said, "I was bitten by a snake that had been bitten by a spider." Wrap your head around that, folks. Meanwhile, tune in next time with us. From Second Row Production presents From Your Mother's Basement, sitting in here with the 2 brothers themselves, Sundar and Josh, and the Legend T James Logan. You know what? No fist fights broke out. Nobody's feelings got hurt. I'm sure when the mic goes off, someone's get bleeding. All right, folks, we'll talk to you next time.
You're listening to another great show from the Second Row Podcast Network with the Legend T James Logan. For more shows, visit our website at www.secondrow.ca. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And like us on Facebook at From the Second Row.